Madam Chair, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply honored to have this opportunity to be with you today and to open the third and concluding preparatory meeting of the Durban Review Conference. At the outset, I would like to thank all those who have prepared the groundwork for a productive meeting. And here I am particularly grateful to the Bureau of the PrepCom, the Chair and members of the Intersessional Open-Ended Working Group, for their tenacity and the skillful manner in which they conducted the negotiations resulting in the draft outcome document which is before you. Since the first substantive session of the Preparatory Committee and various meetings of the Intersessional Open-Ended Working Group, the path that led to this PrepCom has been challenging and sometimes even arduous. There had been doubts about the viability of the review conference. Nevertheless, I am glad that once again, Member States' resolve has been channeled towards common goals. You now have a document which most agree provides a good basis for consensus and hopefully a successful outcome of the review conference. Excellencies, almost 8 years have passed since Member States gathered in Durban and adopted the Durban Declaration and Programme of Action, DDPA, by consensus. The World Conference Against Racism created a vision of change for mankind. It provided a framework in the DDPA for addressing racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance. The DDPA represents the hard-won result of the global commitment to the fight against racism. It addresses past manifestations as well as contemporary forms of racism, and it provides a roadmap for states, for the international community, and all stakeholders to implement their pledges. Thus, the DDPA provides the most comprehensive platform for addressing racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance. It encompasses far-reaching measures to combat racism in all its manifestations, including strengthening education, fighting poverty, securing development, improving the remedies and resources available to victims of racism, and bolstering respect for the rule of law and for human rights. Yet, 8 years on, anti-racism pledges and measures have not yet succeeded in relegating discriminatory practices and intolerance to the heap of history's repugnant debris. The goals set out in the DDPA have not been achieved. This reality should prompt us to seek common grounds where to move the struggle against racism forward. The tools and capacity for achieving the goals outlined in the DDPA are within our reach if we remain committed to those objectives. The review conference provides an opportunity for us to take stock of successes and challenges in the implementation of the DDPA. I have released a report which highlights my specific suggestions to ensure better implementation of the goals set out in the DDPA. The document points out areas where gaps persist, and it makes suggestions on how to fill them. To this end, allow me to also note that there will be a clear and urgent need to significantly boost the capacity of OHCHR's anti-discrimination unit to face up to an escalating volume of work, including those additional tasks that are expected to arise from the present review conference. Adequate additional resources will contribute to the implementation of UN member states' recommendations and to shoring up OHCHR's leadership position in pursuing the international anti-racism agenda. I trust that you will find these initiatives and proposals of benefit and that they support you in your deliberations. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot overemphasize that we must grasp and make the most of the opportunity provided by the Review Conference. The need to renew our commitment to the vision expressed in the DDPA and our resolve to achieve it must be forcefully reaffirmed. Racist attitudes and hate speech can be found in many countries, and evolving technologies such as the Internet provide new vehicles for their proliferation. We should work together to address both old and emerging challenges. I recognize that there are legitimate divergences of views on some of the issues under debate in this Durban Review process. In order to find common ground on these issues, we need to work together in good faith, with open minds and constructive thinking. I have repeatedly urged all stakeholders not to lose sight of the greater common good and eschew narrow parochial interests as well as reflexive partnership in the struggle against intolerance. The fight against intolerance is in the best interest of everyone. The negotiating process of the draft outcome document and the work of the intersessional open-ended working group demonstrates that broad agreement is possible. As you commence this PrepCom leading up to the review conference, I urge you to transcend your differences and to find consensus as you did, even amidst the very challenging circumstances of the World Conference Against Racism that took place in Durban in 2001. Lives are at stake. The future